When two souls are truly bound to end up together, there is a single pattern that shows itself every single time, without exception. Most of us grow up thinking fate is smooth, that it feels like ease from the very beginning, like a fairy tale where two people lock eyes and life simply arranges itself around them. We picture everything getting simpler, obstacles vanishing, love showing up without friction of any kind. But real fate has never worked that way. Genuine destiny begins with chaos, with things being turned upside down, with problems that seem impossible to make sense of at first. The universe never hands you love gently. It puts you through trials first, dismantling the beliefs that were never true, molding you into someone new and demanding that each person grow individually long before any real bond can form. That is the pattern. It never changes. A soulmate connection does not begin with ease or a sense of peace. It begins with something closer to recognition, a strange and often disorienting kind of awareness. The very first clue that a person is meant for you is not comfort or reassurance. It is a strange, unsettling spark of recognition. You meet them and something in you reacts before your thoughts even have time to catch up. It's a feeling of being fully seen, and that alone can shake you because destiny tends to rattle the foundation you've built your inner world on. When you cross paths with someone who is meant to be yours, that first encounter is almost never calm. Security might feel far away, certainty might feel out of reach, but that unease is exactly what fate feels like in its early stage. It isn't unsettling because the other person is wrong for you. It's unsettling because they mirror the parts of yourself you've buried, avoided, or refused to look at. These meetings push you to confront your fears, your insecurities, and every habit that has kept you from real intimacy. Most people confuse love with predictability and calm, yet true fate tends to arrive more like a storm, knocking you off balance and leaving you shaken, as if to remind you that growth always has to come before any lasting union. One of the more baffling parts of a fated connection is why these two people almost never stay together right from the start. Life tends to pull them apart, and it isn't out of cruelty, it's out of necessity. That separation is deliberate. It happens because one or both people are still carrying wounds that haven't healed. Maybe one is terrified of being emotionally open, while the other is wrestling with a lack of self-worth. Sometimes love gets offered from a place of fear instead of wholeness. Even when the intentions are good, two incomplete people can still end up hurting each other. In those moments, the universe intervenes with a message that couldn't be clearer. Not yet. It waits until growth, self-awareness, and maturity have had the chance to prepare both hearts for what's coming. A destined love is patient. It's relentless. It reshapes you. It asks you to look at yourself honestly, with no shortcuts and nowhere to hide. Every hardship, every heartbreak, every stretch of uncertainty is part of the preparation. The universe pulls you apart so it can show you what you actually need, so it can teach you how to love without clinging or expecting anything in return. When the timing finally lines up, everything comes together on its own. But that only happens once you've been reshaped into someone capable of holding and keeping that kind of love. This is the quiet truth behind destiny. It shapes you, it tests you, it strengthens you, and only then does it hand you the reward so that what you build together lasts instead of fading. Understand this. Real destiny is never about a quick payoff. It's not one sudden moment of comfort or ease. It's a process, a long unfolding of awareness, disruption, distance, and self-discovery. So when someone unsettles you, when circumstances keep pulling you apart from them, don't panic. That's usually a sign that destiny is doing its work, preparing you for a love that's actually worth the wait. A love that changes you instead of just comforting you for a while. Stay grounded. Stay open. Trust what's unfolding, even when you can't see the shape of it yet. When two people are meant for each other, the universe eventually brings them back around, stronger, wiser, and ready for something that lasts. If it were handed to you too soon, it would only end up damaging what was supposed to endure. Separation isn't a mistake. It's part of the blueprint. When people who belong together get pulled apart, the pain feels nothing like ordinary heartbreak. It goes beyond sadness or missing someone. It feels like something has gone off balance inside you. You don't just miss them, it feels like a piece of you is gone. That's because a destined connection was never built on comfort or ego to begin with. It's tied to growth, to becoming, to the parts of yourself you haven't dealt with yet. Losing them forces you to look at your fears, your insecurities, your unhealed wounds, and the patterns that have kept you from becoming whole. This kind of pain touches every corner of who you are. It brings up your fear of being abandoned, your need for approval, and the times you gave too much of yourself just to hold on to someone's attention. It shows you where you avoided taking emotional responsibility and where you gave without setting any real limits. None of this is punishment. It's a wake-up call. The universe uses this discomfort to build awareness, to push you toward honesty with yourself, and to help you face the habits that have been blocking real connection all along. A fated love is never gentle. It's transformative, even when it speaks through silence, even when you can't yet see its purpose. Here's the part most people don't expect. Even after the separation, even with no contact at all, even when logic says move on, something inside you keeps shifting anyway. That growth happens quietly. You start noticing more, discerning more, being more honest with yourself. Behaviors you used to tolerate start to feel wrong. People you once chased lose their pull on you. What you want starts to shift, away from shallow attention and toward depth, meaning, and honesty. You rarely connect this shift directly to them, yet it began the moment they walked into your life. A destined connection doesn't create obsession. It creates reflection, awareness, and growth. That kind of love leaves its mark in the quiet parts of your life. You think of them, not out of loneliness or need, but because some part of you recognizes there are lessons still unfinished, growth that only they were able to spark. You notice them during moments of self-reflection, during emotional turning points, during those quiet nights when everything feels still. This isn't attachment, it's integration. The quiet, meaningful way their influence has woven itself into who you're becoming. You uncover lessons you didn't even know you needed. Slowly, without trying, your life starts shifting in ways that prepare you for something deeper. And still, no one can truly replace a connection like that. People try. They date other people, distract themselves, tell themselves they've moved on. And yet something always feels unfinished. Not because the new person isn't valuable, but because they simply don't spark the same growth. Destined love operates on a completely different level. It was never about ease or attraction in the first place. It's about evolution, guiding both people toward wholeness and teaching lessons that an ordinary relationship could never reach. You can't force it, fake it, or replace it because its purpose reaches far beyond simple companionship. It exists to challenge you, teach you, and transform you both. During the time you're apart, destiny keeps working quietly but powerfully on each of you. One learns boundaries, the other learns responsibility. One builds self-respect, the other builds emotional courage. One learns to stop chasing what can't be controlled. The other learns to stop running from what has to be faced. Neither of you can see the whole picture yet, and that's intentional. The universe holds back the full understanding until you've both grown enough to handle the love that's waiting. This process is exact. It's intentional. It's necessary. It makes sure that when your paths cross again, the bond is no longer fragile or temporary. It becomes something lasting, built on the foundation of two people who've actually done the work. Before destined people find each other again, the illusions have to go. Every false belief about love gets dismantled. Ideas like love should always be easy, or real love means someone would never leave, have to be released. Beliefs like you have to earn love, or you need someone else to feel whole, get exposed as the weak, false foundations they always were. Destiny clears these out carefully, honestly, often through discomfort. Every tear, every ache of missing someone, every heavy moment along the way serves a purpose. This clearing has to happen because real love was never built on fear or dependence. It's built on awareness, on conscious choice, on growth. Fated love was never about needing someone to survive. It's about choosing them freely once you're already whole. And the shift happens quietly. There comes a point where you simply stop needing them, stop chasing love out of fear or lack. That's exactly when destiny starts moving again, once both of you can stand fully on your own. Love turns into a conscious decision instead of a survival instinct. Alignment begins. Love, at this stage, is no longer anxious or desperate or dependent. It becomes a calm, deliberate force that naturally draws the right people together. This is the moment the universe allows two paths to cross again, ready this time for something real. When the people meant to reconnect actually do, the experience feels noticeably different than before. There's less tension, less fear, far less ego involved. The connection feels calmer, deeper, more conscious. Not perfect, but intentional. The confusion, the mind games, the uncertainty that once surrounded it no longer control the relationship. What's left is a sense of recognition that runs deeper than it ever did before. And even if they never come back, the connection still mattered. Not every fated relationship is meant to last a lifetime. Some exist purely to break generational patterns, to wake up your sense of self-worth, to build emotional resilience, or to redirect the entire course of your life. Their purpose was never permanence. It was transformation. Destiny often feels harsh before it feels kind, because it values your growth over your comfort. It might cause heartbreak before it allows deeper damage to your soul. It removes people from your life before you lose yourself completely in attachment to them. The lessons can feel brutal while you're inside them, but with time, clarity always arrives. One truth stays constant through all of it. When two people are genuinely meant to share something real, they're usually required to grow apart first. False beliefs get stripped away, inner struggles get confronted, and both hearts get reshaped into something healthier and stronger. Only after that does destiny allow either a reunion or a redirection. Either way, neither person stays the same. If you're reading this and thinking of someone right now, let these words settle in you. If it's meant to come back, it will return calmly, not painfully. If it's genuinely aligned, it will never ask you to abandon yourself. It will only ask you to grow. And if it never comes back, that too is a gift, guiding you toward the version of yourself you were always meant to become. Every separation, every stretch of uncertainty, every painful lesson is a meaningful part of the journey. Destiny doesn't waste a single experience. It prepares you, shapes you, elevates you, so that whether love arrives or life moves you somewhere else entirely, you meet it with a heart that's open and matured. Fated connections are among the deepest mysteries in life, and they rarely unfold the way you'd expect. When two people are genuinely aligned, the universe doesn't rush them into comfort or certainty. Instead, it challenges them, pulls them apart, and forces to the surface the parts of themselves they've avoided for years. The pain of the distance isn't punishment. It's part of the design. It forces each person to face their fears, their insecurities, their unhealed wounds. This whole process teaches emotional accountability, self-respect, and the ability to love fully without depending on someone else for your wholeness. Every tear, every ache of longing, every confusing moment plays a part in this hidden process. And even in the silence, even with zero contact, the growth continues. You become sharper, more self-aware, more honest with yourself. And the lessons you gain during this time were never really about the other person. They were always about you. Fated love isn't about instant happiness or comfort. It's about growth, about shaping two whole people who are capable of holding a deep, conscious, honest connection. When destiny finally allows a reunion, it's no longer chaotic, insecure, or run by ego. Instead, the bond becomes calmer, clearer, more intentional. And even if the reunion never happens, its impact stays with you, guiding both people towards self-realization and emotional maturity. Every separation, every heartbreak, every lesson carries value. Each experience prepares you to meet the highest form of love, one that actually matches who you're becoming. Real destiny never wastes an experience. It makes sure every challenge serves a purpose, waking up inner strength and preparing you for the love that's meant for you. A love like this can't be rushed, forced, or manufactured. It shows up quietly, often in ways that feel uncomfortable at first, because its goal was never instant satisfaction. Its purpose is transformation. The people meant to shape your life deeply will challenge you, disrupt your comfortable patterns, and expose parts of yourself you may have hidden even from your own awareness. You might not feel ready for them at first, and the universe might create distance that feels unbearable. But that distance exists for a reason. It teaches you patience, independence, and emotional honesty. You start to see how you may have looked for love outside yourself, and slowly you begin seeking wholeness from within instead. Every moment of longing, every restless night, every reflection on what could have been, shapes you into someone able to receive love in its highest form. Truly fated connections don't create fixation. They create awareness. They push you toward reflecting on your values, your boundaries, your capacity for vulnerability. You start craving depth instead of distraction, meaning instead of temporary attention. Even if that person never comes back, the growth they sparked stays with you, shaping how you relate to yourself and everyone else for the rest of your life. In that way, destiny is both gentle and demanding at once. It strips away comfort to hand you clarity. It removes illusion to reveal the truth. It challenges your heart so it can finally become whole. When destined people do reunite, the connection feels completely different. There's no frantic chasing, no games, no uncertainty. Instead, there's a calm, intentional love built on shared growth. The anxiety that used to define the relationship gets replaced with understanding and clarity. Each person has been reshaped by distance and challenge, now finally capable of offering honesty and presence without fear. This is the love destiny was preparing you for all along. Not a fleeting romance, but a bond that strengthens and elevates both people. And if reunion never happens, that still fulfills destiny's purpose. Some connections exist purely to break old patterns, to awaken your self-respect, to teach you emotional depth. They matter not because they last forever, but because they guide you toward the person you were always meant to become. Their influence lasts, woven permanently into your growth, your choices, your heart. A fated love was never about needing or completing someone else. It's about choosing one another freely, from a place of inner fullness. It teaches you to stop avoiding discomfort and to stop chasing approval. It demands self-reflection and emotional courage, pushing both people to face their shadows and grow. Pain here isn't punishment. It's a tool, a catalyst for change. Through it, you learn what real love actually asks of you. Patience, awareness, and the willingness to keep growing, even when the road feels lonely or unclear. Every separation, every challenge, every lesson is a step closer to alignment. Destiny reshapes you, not for quick ease, but for a love that lasts, because it's built on clarity, growth, and conscious choice. Fated connections operate on a level most people never fully grasp. They were never about ease, comfort, or instant happiness. They exist to wake up the parts of yourself that have stayed dormant or hidden. When you meet someone who's genuinely meant for you, it feels like a mirror gets held up to your inner world. The parts of your personality you've ignored, denied, or pushed away suddenly reflect back at you with total clarity. This can feel unsettling because it forces you to face truths you might have avoided for years. You start recognizing patterns in your own behavior, fears you've been carrying, and the ways you've limited your own capacity to love fully. The pain of separation in these connections doesn't feel like ordinary heartbreak. It cuts deeper, not because the other person is wrong for you, but because they're activating your growth. They reveal exactly where healing needs to happen, which boundaries need to be set, and what self-respect needs to be reclaimed. Every ache, every memory, every moment of longing becomes a lesson in transformation, guiding you toward who you're meant to become. During this stretch of distance, life teaches patience, resilience, and awareness. You start observing yourself without distraction, learning to understand your own needs without projecting them onto anyone else. Things that used to feel fine suddenly feel out of alignment with your truth. People you used to chase no longer hold your attention, and shallow interest loses its appeal entirely. Your heart starts craving authenticity, presence, emotional honesty. Even when you don't consciously connect this shift back to them, the transformation keeps unfolding anyway. The impact of a fated connection is quiet but powerful, reshaping your perspective, your emotional responses, your entire understanding of love. This is exactly why destiny never rushes a reunion. The connection can't move forward until both people are ready to show up fully, consciously, without fear. Only then does alignment happen, whether that means reunion or a new direction that continues the same work of growth. Destiny is exact, and it's patient. It removes illusion first, dismantling beliefs that distort love. Ideas like love should never hurt, or affection has to be earned, or you need someone else to feel complete, get broken down slowly. Facing beliefs like these is hard, but necessary. Only when both people can choose each other freely, from wholeness instead of need, does a real connection actually thrive. Love at its highest level was never about survival, it's about conscious choice. Once that balance is reached, paths might merge again, shaped now by clarity, maturity, and shared growth. And even if the reunion never comes, the purpose still gets fulfilled. Every lesson, every loss, every reflection is preparation, making sure each person moves closer to their highest potential. A destined love reshapes how you approach relationships, your life, and yourself. It teaches emotional responsibility, courage, and the value of authenticity. It pushes you to stop hiding from fear and to stop searching for validation outside yourself. Dependency and shallow desire fall away, making room for something intentional and conscious. When reunion happens, it's calm, grounded, honest. When it doesn't, the connection still guides your path, pointing you toward growth, self-awareness, and the life you were always meant to live. Every moment of confusion, every tear, every ache of longing has a purpose. Destiny makes sure no connection goes to waste. It might feel harsh before it feels kind, but its outcomes run deep, and they last. Connections like this stand apart from everything else, because they're never defined by convenience, comfort, or timing. They reach the very core of who you are and push you toward growth you didn't know you needed. From the moment they enter your life, they act as a catalyst for self-awareness, forcing you to face parts of yourself you've ignored for a long time. None of this feels comfortable. The universe keeps separating you, again and again, not as punishment, but as preparation. What you feel in their absence isn't just missing another person. It's the realization that something inside you is still unfinished, unsettled, or unhealed. That's why the pain of this kind of separation feels nothing like ordinary heartbreak. It shakes your sense of stability, stirs your emotions, and demands a level of self-examination that most relationships never ask of you. During these periods apart, change starts happening quietly. Your understanding of love, attachment, and your own limits begins to shift. Things you used to accept or overlook start feeling wrong for who you're becoming. You stop chasing connections that can't meet you at this new level of awareness. Instead, you start valuing authenticity, depth, and emotional honesty over surface-level approval. Quiet moments alone, reflective evenings, they all become chances to absorb and apply what this connection has taught you. This growth might not show on the outside, but it matters. It's a slow reshaping of your heart, your mindset, your emotional foundation, preparing you to reconnect with clarity and responsibility if that reunion ever comes. A fated love was never rooted in dependence. It's sustained by choice. Real connection forms once both people are whole on their own, once love becomes a conscious desire instead of a need. Once ego steps back and the inner self chooses freely, the universe strips away false beliefs, like the idea that love has to be earned or that wholeness depends on someone else. These beliefs distort real connection, and they have to dissolve. These lessons are hard, sometimes painfully so, but they're necessary. They build emotional strength, self-respect, and the ability to love without fear or attachment. This is why fated love can feel harsh before it feels supportive. It puts your long-term growth ahead of short-term comfort. It breaks old patterns before allowing real expansion, so that when love is offered again, it comes with awareness, depth, and integrity. When a destined connection finally does return, there's no mistaking it. No manipulation, no insecurity, no desperate chasing. The bond feels stable, balanced, intentional. Both people have gone through real internal change, now capable of both giving and receiving love in a healthy way. And even if reunion never happens at all, the meaning of the connection stays intact. It's already fulfilled its higher purpose, sparking growth, waking up your self-worth, breaking inherited cycles, and guiding your life in its highest direction. Every moment of pain, confusion, and quiet reflection has served that purpose. Destiny makes sure no connection exists without meaning. Every experience moves you toward wholeness, preparing you for the love or the lessons you were always meant to receive. Some connections exist purely to teach lessons that go far beyond romance or companionship. They reveal who you truly are at the deepest level. They push you to face your fears, your repeated patterns, and the false beliefs that have kept you stuck in cycles of longing or relationships that never satisfied you. When the universe puts distance between two people meant to learn from each other, it's never cruelty, it's purpose. That space lets each person grow on their own, heal wounds that could have otherwise damaged the connection, and build the emotional maturity needed to sustain it. This process is rarely easy. It can feel like your heart is being stretched, tested, sometimes even broken. But every ache, every confusing moment is proof that growth is happening. The separation is shaping you, strengthening your capacity to love, and preparing you to fully show up when the timing finally lines up. If any part of this has spoken to something in you, take a moment to sit with it instead of rushing past it. Everything shared here is meant to guide you toward deeper self-awareness and real, lasting growth. If it resonated, consider passing it along to someone who might need to hear it today, someone quietly going through their own season of distance or waiting. And if you want more reflections like this one, staying connected here means you won't miss what comes next. Every piece of guidance shared is created with the hope that it genuinely helps someone move closer to the love and the life they were always meant to have. Thank you for taking the time to sit with these words.